UFC 200 drug test failure. UFC 200 was hyped up as the biggest card in history, with Jon Jones finally set for the rematch against Daniel Cormier. Everything was falling into place, until just 2 days before the event when the news broke that Jones had failed a drug test. He tested positive for estrogen blockers, which are usually taken after a cycle of steroids. At the press conference, Jones broke down in tears and said it was because of a sexual enhancement pill. Believe him or not, the damage was done. The fight got scrapped, the whole card fell apart, and DC ended up fighting Anderson Silva on just 2 days' notice. What should have been a massive super fight turned into a slow, awkward 3-rounder that nobody really wanted. The UFC stripped Jones of his interim belt and suspended him for a year. Later, USADA accepted his story about the tainted pill, but by then, it didn't matter. He had already blown the biggest payday of his career and given fans another reason to doubt everything he said. For a guy many people considered the best fighter alive, it was another reminder that his toughest opponent wasn't Cormier, it was himself. UFC 232 relocation drama. Now this one was crazy, even by Jon Jones standards. In 2018, he was lined up to face Alexander Gustafsson at UFC 232. It was a huge rematch, fans were buzzing, and Vegas was set to host the card. Then, right before fight week, everything blew up. Jones failed another drug test. This time, it wasn't for anything new, just a tiny trace of a steroid metabolite still pulsing in his system from a past use. The Nevada State Athletic Commission wasn't having it. With the holidays coming up, they said they needed more time to sort it out and refused to give him the green light. So what did Dana White do? With only a few days left, he moved the entire event from Las Vegas to California. The California Commission looked at the situation, gave Jones the thumbs up, and the fight was back on, just in a totally different state. The fallout was brutal. Fans who had already bought tickets and booked Vegas trips were left scrambling. Fighters on the card were furious, having to adjust travel, training, and schedules at the last minute. Some even had to leave team members behind because it was such a rushed switch. And Jon Jones? He didn't deal with any of it. He showed up, fought, and walked away with the belt. To a lot of people, the favoritism was obvious. If this had been almost anyone else, the fight would have been cancelled. But because it was Jon Jones, one of the UFC's biggest moneymakers, Dana made sure the show went on.
It's a bit of a hassle for all of us. It pisses me off. I'm a bit disappointed it's going to cost all of us. You know, I don't think it's going to cost Jon Jones much, but it'll cost us, cost my family a fair bit.
I think it was more of like an annoyance. I'm just like, really? For one person?
The 2019 battery charge. Just when it seemed like Jon Jones might finally be keeping things steady, another headline hit in 2019. Not long after his razor-close win over Thiago Santos, news broke that a waitress at a strip club in Albuquerque had accused him of going too far. She said Jones slapped her, tried to kiss her without permission, and even put her in a chokehold. For most fighters, that would have been shocking news, but with Jon, fans kind of shrugged and went, here we go again. It dragged his name through the mud all over again, and this wasn't the type of story that just disappeared quietly. In the end, Jones pleaded no contest, which meant he didn't admit guilt, but also didn't fight the charge. The court gave him a 90-day deferred sentence with conditions like staying away from alcohol, drugs, and of course the strip club where it all happened. The 2020 lockdown arrest. In March 2020, when the whole world was locked down, Jon Jones still found a way to make headlines for all the wrong reasons.